All right, so for this mini lab, what we are going to do, we are going to get into more depth and more detail about velocity. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an example. Then what you're going to do is you're going to record the time for each of those trials to occur. And then ultimately, you will determine the velocity of the toy car that moves in this particular experiment over a given distance. So the first thing that the lab has us do is it has us take 3 tape marks and mark out 3 meters. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn the camera and I'm going to show you our 3 tape marks to represent 3 meters. So right here, right below the camera, and you won't be able to see it, I'm going to rip off a little bit of tape and I am going to have our starting line. And I'll back the camera up so that you can see this. But I am then going to place the meter stick. I'm going to go 1 whole meter stick and I am going to get my first meter mark made. So I put another piece of tape there. So between the tape, which I'll lower the camera a little bit, between the first set of tape, which is, let me lower the camera, right here, and between this other piece of tape that I've just put on the table is 1 meter. Now again, I'm going to go 1 more meter, and so when I lay out the meter stick, this next piece of tape is at 2 meters. Now we're going to go 1 more meter to get our total of 3 meters here on the tabletop. I'm going to put down my final piece of tape right here. So I'll show it to you here, the runway that we have for this particular experiment. We have the starting line, and then we have down the row here, down the row, we have 3 pieces of tape. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a toy car, which I'm going to set the camera down. I'm going to show you this toy car. I'm going to take this toy car, and what I'm going to do is I am going to start the toy car. It moves on its own. As I start the toy car, what you're going to do is I'm going to say ready, set, go, and then we are going to watch it cross the 1 meter mark. You will then record the time it takes for the car to go from the starting line to the 1 meter mark. We're then going to restart that. I'm going to say ready, set, go again. We're going to time the time it takes for the car to go from the start to the 2 meter. And then 1 more time, you're going to record the time it takes to go from the start to that 3 meters. So let me pause the video, let me get some things set up, and then we'll resume it with a perfect eyesight or an eye line of how to see this particular lab. All right, so I have the camera set up. So again, right here where my finger is right now, that's the starting line. And I'm going to turn the car on. I'm going to put the front of the car right here at the starting line, and then I'm going to release it. The moment my hand comes off the car, you're going to take a phone or a stopwatch and you're going to start timing this particular car, and it is going to go all the way until that 1 meter mark where I am currently. And I will tell you it has crossed, or the car is crossing the 1 meter mark. You will then record that particular time, and then we will restart and do it 2 meters, and then a third and final time we will do it a full 3 meters. So here we go. I'm going to turn the car on, place the wheels, and the moment my hand comes up, you need to start timing the car, and I will shout out when it reaches that 1 meter mark. And time. So again, if you didn't quite catch that, what you can do, you can rewind the video and you can rewatch that. I'm going to reset the camera angle and I'm going to go for the 2 meter trial. Okay, so for the 2 meter trial, I just raised the camera up, but this first piece of tape is our starting line once again. This next piece of tape, that is our 1 meter mark. We, this time, want the car to go all the way to the 2 meter mark. So, what you are going to do is the same type of thing that we will do, but you are not going to stop that stopwatch until the car passes this 2 meter mark. So, again, I'm going to turn the car on, release my hand. When my hand releases, you need to start timing and stop timing once it reaches the 2 meter mark. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1. And the car is at the 2 meter. So again, if you didn't quite catch that, that's all right. Go ahead, rewind the video. Your timing should start when my hand gets released, and then I yelled out when the car got to the 2 meter mark. Okay, once more, I'm going to reset the video, and then we will do that 3 meter target. All right, so this time, our starting line, you can't quite see it because I raised the vehicle here, but it's right underneath my finger. This time we are going 3 meters, so almost to the end of the table here. So again, I am going to start the car. I am going to let my hand release. You will start timing the car, and you need to wait until the car reaches all the way down here, and I'll yell out 3 meters, and once it reaches 3 meters, you need to stop recording that time. So, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, start that time. Let it keep going. And 3 meters. So the car has now reached 3 meters. Now you should have times recorded on your sheet for the time it took for the car to travel 1 meter, 2 meters, and that 3rd meter. Again, what I should have said too was that the time should be in seconds, and you should have 2 decimal places for those seconds. 2 decimal places in the unit of S for seconds. Now, what I want you to do, on the 2nd page of this lab, what it talks about is calculating the velocity of the car. Now, velocity, reminder, it includes 2 things. The speed, which is distance divided by time, and it's in meters per second, and the speed, the velocity also includes the directions. So, I realize we're in this classroom here, but you can make the directions as simple as towards the whiteboard or to the end of the desk. Velocity must include both speed and direction. When you get done with that, you need to take your data that shows your velocity and put it into a graph. You can embed a Google Sheet to do that process. So that concludes another episode here of Science with Surback. As always, I hope you enjoy, and remember to subscribe.